What's going on? It's your boy DCEU Universe here with another episode of the OffRangers Podcast with DK Typical _TV, Soup for Thought, and Doombot TV, along with our boys Beyond Meaning and McAllister account. Now, last week, Attack on Titan had a little bit of a calmer episode, and we've been talking about it a lot, but I want to talk about something different here in anime. What are some other animes that you guys have been watching that you think people should be looking at? Soup for Thought, let's start with you.
All right, I'll go first. I feel like a lot of people have been watching Jujutsu Kaisen. It's very popular. The animation has been on point. The pacing has been fantastic. They've been putting out high quality action, suspense. So it still has like that sort of fan feel that a lot of webcomics have, where it's not as smooth as like regular manga anime series. Like Gata High School has it. Jujutsu Kaisen has it. The other anime, I don't know if you guys watched it. I think it was Cannon Busted on Netflix. It's sort of like a love letter to anime too. I think it was written by. Someone that wasn't Japanese know that it sort of has that feel to it, but overall it's been amazing. It's been great fights, but the one I really want to highlight is Jobless Reincarnation. I know a lot of people probably haven't seen it. It's a typical isekai. Protagonist gets killed, but instead of going to hell like the heathen he is, he gets placed in one of these fancy worlds. Except the twist with this one is that he arrived as a baby. So he has a grown mind in his baby's body, and he's sort of progressing that way. It gets kind of difficult to watch in certain moments.
What do you mean?
Just in the fact that, then we'll explain this, Doombot. Just in the fact that he is a 45-year-old man, and for the most of the series, he is about 12 years old.
Oh.
And does not stop him at all from having a crush. But once you get past that, then it's really good. They make it really realistic in the power system and everything and how he's approaching it. I also like with this show, like with a lot of different protagonists wakes up in a different world, they completely forget about their life. Like Konosuba, I don't know if anyone's seen that. I love that one. One of my favorites. But he has never mentioned his actual life other than maybe one time. ReZero, I think they visited it in one episode. On this one, he was pretty shut in. It's kind of like nerdy, social outcast kind of guy. So he has a lot of social anxiety and other things he's dealing with, and that trauma comes up a lot in it, which I think is pretty cool. It's sort of just not just ignoring it, acting like his former life never happened. He still sees it. He still has self-confidence issues, even though he's apparently just a god, slowly becoming a god in the show, but he still has all these issues dealing with. So I thought that one was pretty cool. I feel like a lot of people should be tuned in this one.
Okay. I like that. When you were talking at first, for some reason, I thought about The Wise Man's Grandchild as an anime where he goes to another world and he just completely forgets everything he ever learned.
Happens a lot.
He just becomes a god, and he also ends up loving a 16-year-old girl. But that one we all admit is equally terrible. Something that's not terrible is DK Typical's opinion. I want to hear, what are you thinking, man? What have you been watching lately?
I mean, like with Soup for Thoughts here, and I was watching Jujutsu Kaisen mainly. I've started that whole anime and the whole storyline right now is really popping off. In my opinion, it's going really good. Like you said, animation is amazing. Storyline is on fire. It's just and they're not like, it's not like a terrible episode here or there. But I know. I've started rewatching like some of the older stuff, like Sword Art Online, just for just to reminisce and just watch some of those as well. So those are always good. And then also watch like he always say this word wrong, like Kuroko's
Kuroko's no basket.
Basketball. I know I watched that and that was
basketball that Kuroko plays. That's a great. That's literally, as someone that watches sports anime, that's literally one of the best sports anime of all time. Because it's so animated up how like ridiculous it is.
It's really funny.
It's really funny, and like in its perspective of basketball, it's supposed to be so serious. I know a lot of people take it serious, but I just laugh. It's just that's just so nonsense. Funny. It's just nonsense.
Just imagine like an episode where it's in America for 1 year, and like Brian just walks out with Moder's theme music.
Well, here's the thing: they have an OVA, not OVA. They have like a movie where they play like this street ball team from America. And of course, like they win. I was like, bro, come on, like stop.
Let's be real.
Let's keep it a buck, bro. Like they're getting annihilated. Like I think that
he's still his enemy, LeBron James on that team.
I'm just really hoping he's not animated the way I think he is.
Kind of like Muhammad Ali and you gotta know what I'm talking about. What is that?
Baki?
Yeah.
That's funny.
We can't talk about that, man. They did him so dirty. But something that ain't dirty. Doombot TV. Tell me what you thinking, man.
I haven't showered in a long time.
Oh my God.
So I want to give a shout out to Dr. Stone, #1. That's my show. I still don't know why I like it, but that show is so entertaining to watch him make soda in the Stone World. But I'm also going to talk about that time I got reincarnated as slime, which is slowly becoming my #1 most interesting anime. Season 1, you start off with this guy dying. As he's dying, he starts to build up resistance for his next life, with he already coming in OP. Like a real man, he goes up with his last words being delete my browser history, which I don't think anybody gives him credit for. I mean, he's smart, right? He comes into the show after episode 1, he's easily overpowered. And season 1 is just him kind of cruising through life. He fights a couple people, and it's just him powering up people, building up his own village. As season 2 starts, you get a feeling that this is not going to be the same happy-go-lucky anime. It's still new, so I'm not going to spoil it, so don't worry about that. But it's a war arc's coming. People are dying. It's not good. It's a lot of things are getting dark. Every single episode is a cliffhanger. I like how they're still doing a tie-in to people from Japan are coming into their world, and they always are extra strong. There's a lot of references to the real world, which I do like, as Super Thought commented on. So yeah, right now that's up there with Attack on Titan for me.
Really? Oh my God, that's powerful.
It is.
You know something right now that I'm enjoying, and I'm not going to say I enjoy to the level of Attack on Titan, but I'm enjoying a lot is Cells at Work. And I know it's already come out, but it reminded me a lot. And we were talking before the podcast. Sue brought this up, but it reminds me a lot of Osmosis Jones. And and so I have this nostalgia feeling from when I was a kid when I watch it, but I'm also learning a lot now that I'm watching now. And I know the show it's probably for an age group slightly lower than I am right now, but I can't help but think to myself, like, wow, the characters are really cute. The storylines are always compelling. And even more than that, they have an advantage to where in a lot of shows, they need to kind of come up with a reason for there to be a new villain. But I think the reason I like it is because every single villain they have, which is a germ or a virus or something like that, it is completely normal for why that would be there. Whenever a white blood cell or a storyline between a red blood cell happens, I just think to myself, that's actually very inaccurate. I think that's why I enjoy it so much. I think it has its own little niche fan base. I know it's probably not a show for everybody, which is why I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everybody. I know sometimes I can have a little bit weirder taste in anime, but if you're looking for something, I think that's a little bit on the sillier side. And also I generally deem some things, and you might agree with me here, as cute. Like, you just kind of forgive certain things, but you're like, all right, that's a cute show. Yeah, I would tell you guys to watch that. But something else I'm watching right now, I'm only about 3 episodes in, and I don't mind it so far, is Isekai Cheat. I'm watching that on Verve right now, and that's, Soup, you talked about it earlier. It's about a guy and a girl. They're 2 average students. Well, the girl's like a model and all this other stuff, and she clearly has a crush on the guy, but he doesn't know it. Usual anime trope. And they get transported away to this other magical world. And the thing about it so far, I'm only 3 episodes in. This is why I'm not going to recommend it yet. I do not recommend a single show. As you've seen on DCEU Universe's channel, I don't recommend something unless I actually like it. But so far, they're both OP as hell, just naturally. They just finished their little training arc in 3 weeks where they're like damn near the strongest mages around now. So it hasn't been going too bad. I'm going to update you guys as I watch it. But you guys, I want to know, let's see, Doombot, let's go back to you right now. Any other show you're watching right now that you don't think a lot of people might know about that you think they could possibly like?
Well, so I'm subscribed to Crunchyroll on YouTube, and they post a lot of clips of this show called Heaven's Design Team. And I think the premise is that basically these angels are in heaven and they're designing animals in the real world, but it's a full-on comedy. There's no action or anything, and it's just one of those wholehearted animes. And it just, there is no action, there's no real character. You're like, oh man, I'm rooting for that guy. But just some really wholesome anime. If I watched episode 1, it's really good, really funny. It's definitely a recommendation. Another one that I have watched, and it's kind of lesser known, is Gun Gale Online. We've all, a lot of people know Sword Art Online. You know that, Kirito, Asuna. Hate them or love them, that's what they are, and they're going to be their own thing. But Gun Online is a lot of people do, and no one blames me for it. That whole making Asuna a housewife is debatable, but Gun ditches both of them. I think they mentioned Kirito once, and it's not even by name, just by that guy that used a laser sword during a gun game. So it's that guy. But I really like the setting of Gun Gale Online just because as a gamer, you like seeing games and anime. It makes it really cool. And I just kind of like the plot. It's really short. There is a really big plot armor moment where you're just like, that doesn't make any damn sense. But just go with it. It's a show, whatever.
If you're a good show, you can get away with one of those.
You can. And I think they did. They did get away with it. So definitely watch Gun Gale Online if you haven't.
No, I hear you. I actually watched Gun Gale Online. I loved it. And I do not like Sword Art Online. So anyone out there, I don't know if that's a sign. As someone that does not like the series as a whole, I liked that.
Did you watch the first season of Sword Art Online, or did you drift after that?
I watched the entire 24 episode first season. Mm-hmm. I only liked it up to episode 12. And then I'll just say spoilers, but after they got out of whatever Yggdrasil, that's a different name. Yeah. Well, after they got out of there, I just didn't like the storyline. I didn't like the B plots. And then I tried to watch some of season 2, and it lost me because it just seemed like they completely neutered Asuna. They made her this badass female character, and then she just turned into a housewife, which is my thing. But
disrespectful.
She was locked down in a cage for most of that season anyway.
Exactly, that's the problem.
Make her a damsel. I'm not gonna lie. It would have been more interesting if they had made like her go save Kirito, maybe.
That would have been a great subversion.
If they both had to go save that like little girl, that the weird little I shouldn't say weird, but the little gaming bitch that they ended up parenting together.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
If they had saved that together, I probably would have been like, okay, that makes some sense. But it was just the fact that it was like, all right, we're gonna have her in this weird like tentacle, scene, and then she just never does anything other than that, other than just be like Kirito. So that's just me. But Soup, what about you? Tell me.
Oh man, for me, probably I would have to go with Inuyashiki. It was not something I'm watching currently, but I feel like it's a very underrated anime, and not a lot of people have seen it. I can speak for a lot of people. It's CGI. So a lot of people immediately turned it off after they saw it. I almost did too. It was a drought anime season. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let me just keep going on this show. There's nothing else to watch. It ended up being one of my higher rated animes I've ever seen. It's a short, self-contained story, super emotional. Seemed like it's going to go left field with the involvement of aliens and technology and then all these weird things, but it ends up being really close to home, really personal. And it's just a great show that I feel like a lot of people do not know about. If you can get past the CGI, I know it's really hard. It looks terrible. 9 times out of 10, I would disqualify anime immediately if it's only CGI. But it's a great show. It's a great show. There's some really cool powers, some really cool scenes. I don't know if you guys ever seen the scene where it's a guy on like a television screen and he's like going bang, bang, and actually shooting people in real life as it's broadcasting.
I think I have seen that, TV. Yeah.
You seen him before?
You said Inuyashiki?
Inuyashiki. It's a really good show. It's like 12 episodes, really short.
Is it the one that its theme goes, hit me underground, hit me underground, hit me underground?
Possibly.
That's copyrighted. What did you just do?
Hey, I ain't got the beat playing in the background. We're good.
It's all fun and games. That businessman pop up behind your door.
I think almost all of us can attest to this as small YouTubers that Sony Japan, TV Tokyo have annihilated us when trying to upload videos with songs.
Super aggressive.
Mention them by name. They were to death.
Bro.
What is that anime called?
It was Inuyashiki. It's like 12 episodes, real short, but a fantastically
Is that the one?
Anime.
Is that the one where in the show they end up killing? Like he shoots. Spoiler alert here, but he like shoots a dad and like a baby in the bathtub at the same time.
Oh God!
I saw that clip and I was like, "Yo, like I gotta wait."
I don't know why I'm laughing. That's not funny, but yes, you're 100% correct.
You can't just kill a baby in a clip.
It was bad. He killed the baby.
I do want to add, if you want to talk about some great antagonists, the antagonist of that show is super complex. He is very dynamic. He starts off one way, goes another way towards the end, and Sora comes back full circle somewhat. Not redeemable at all, but he is a great antagonist in that show. And the protagonist is so unconventional. It's like an 80-year-old man who ultimately just wants to keep his family together, and he is just giving it his all as thrust to this bad situation. It's a great show, very underrated. I fully recommend it if you get past CGI.
All right. There's literally only been 2 CGI shows I've ever liked, Majestic Prince and Ajin, which are 2 awkward ones, but we'll see. I'm going to try to get the CGI because I think that's going to be like the way anime in the future. I don't know why that they're going to move towards that eventually. I think eventually like the next generation will be like, oh, that's what I'm used to. And they'll just go with that. I don't think that's us though, but we'll see. Now moving on to another topic. What are our favorite attacks in anime? That's something I want to know because, you know, we always bring up like the cliche things like best anime character and whatnot, but I want to know why you have a favorite attack because attacks can literally make or break a show. Like your show can be like DBZ to me isn't really that great of a show. It's just that everybody's waiting for a Kamehameha or a new form. So you feel me? So
Yeah,
I'm going to start with Doombot on this. Okay, what's your favorite attack in anime?
I do think I love seeing Vegeta use Rasen Shuriken. That is my favorite.
Oh my god! Stop!
No.
I'm gonna send death threat to your house,
bro.
What? Chill, man. Part of soccer fan club. Leave me alone.
You're a monster.
I think that Geshin Potential is definitely my favorite anime attack. Watched that entire series dubbed, so I only know what it sounds like when a dub actor saying it. But he has this really aggressive, kind of demanding voice where it's just like, it's more of like, I don't know, it just sounds pretty cool when he uses it. Mm-hmm. And I always give Naruto shit for having like one attack, but he literally only has one attack. So. But it's a good attack. Love hearing it. So, so I do love Geshin Potential, man.
All right. DK, how about you? Tell me, favorite attack and why?
I say my favorite attack when it comes to my man Lord Ainzo Goon. From Overlord. I think I only saw it maybe 1 or 2 times, but he has this ability where he has, first of all, he's OP as shit, but he has a ton of abilities and whatnot. But the main one I think one ability he has is he just stops time, and it just everything can move. I mean, only thing that can move is him, and like he can literally just tap you on your shoulder and you're dead. Just that's how OP he is. Is the time stop is just. I think if any other anime really had that, or like any other like character had that in their anime, it'd be OP. And I just think I want to see it a lot more. Like I said, I know I didn't see it too much in Overlord, but just if it was a thing, that'd be a really good move just to have in general.
I hear you use it so infrequently. I would use this every single chance I got.
Some of you would use, but see, he's so OP, he doesn't even need that move to do really anything in his whole world. He can do everything. This man summoned a whole army of just some big ass monsters. They look ugly as shit, but what was it? I think they looked like sheep or something, or it was weird shit. But I mean, it was so funny, but they just fucked up everything, and then he just came in and just like, oh yeah, everybody, my whole army's doing what they need to do, and then I think he didn't take command of another army, but they just kind of decided to join him. And he's like, y'all just stand back, and he just sent them, and they were like, what? And they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna fuck with this dude, and yeah. My man tried to challenge him. Was like, you know what? I want to challenge you to end all this fighting. He's like, all right, stop time, killed him, 1 touch. They're like, what happened? What happened? It's just crazy. I think it was OP shit. That's just me.
No, I got you. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Especially like when we're talking about eventually when we talk about unstoppable anime moves, that's me on there because ain't nothing you can do. Like I don't know how
nothing you can do about
how you beat the fucker that stops time, but
unless you're do want to add once again, unless you're a Jiren whose power transcends time.
I know
the anime bullshit. I just want to add that in there.
Dragon Ball stuff. Get out of here.
You know, I like how his fans always sit up like, I don't know how they're going to beat that. And there's just a writer sitting somewhere just like, watch this shit with some nonsensical like, oh, he can transcend that. Because that's always the getaway to where like it's lazy writing is what it is.
Yeah.
Writers are the most powerful anime style out there.
Bro, they are.
Like,
It's very
really
true.
quick, I just want to point out, I do like how they did time stop for S Death and Kill la Kill.
That was a good one too.
I mean, not Kill la Kill, Kami got Kill.
Mhm.
Like, I like how they said you can only use it twice a day, I think, and it was only for a couple seconds. I just thought they
Put
really
some
balanced
limits on that
out.
shit. That's what I
They
like
were
to
close.
see.
They were close. It was like time stop OP, but let's not make it forever. So
Yeah, put some limits on it. That's all we need.
I was about to say, because Ainz is like, the thing I like about Ainz is in his world is he could literally like he knows he could take it over, but there's like a morality factor to him, like him trying to figure out what he wants to actually be first is what I like. That's special. But moving on here, Doombot. No, I already got you, Doom. Soup. What was your favorite attack?
Oh man, I know I'm probably get a lot of hate for this one. It's not a crazy overpowered attack. It's nothing super long, not something super convoluted or new, but something about pre full cowling Deku doing 100% smash. It just gives me so much joy. That first scene where he launches up to save Uraraka, and then All Might's voice is playing in the background. You see his pants ripping, the shirt ripping, the lightning coursing through his body, the amazing punch, the limp limbs he gets after every single time he does it. It's just something about it. It embodies everything that show is to me. It's just, pure effort.
Damn.
I mean, he shows true grit through it.
That's all I need. It's grit. It's perseverance. It's just visually it's pleasing. The voice actor does a great job selling it. It's just something about it. It just gets me going.
One day we have to have a conversation about great dub actors because there's in Black Clover, I don't know why, but Charmy's character, whenever that like voice actor says the 1, 2, 3, you're out, I always get lit for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even that great of an attack. I just like the way she says it. But for me, actually, you know what? We're not gonna go to me right now. We're gonna go to Beyond. Beyond. What's your favorite attack in anime?
All right. So back in college. I'm sorry, I'm kind of old now. Just started thinking like that. I told Doombot about this anime I was watching. Rorun Kenshin. I can't pronounce it. I'm suck at Japanese words.
Rurouni
Sorry.
Kenshin.
Yeah, that's why I got you guys. You got my back. That's what friends are for.
That's what nerds are for.
The one technique that I always love, and one anime attack that I love is hitting Mitagetsu Ryu, aka flying heavenly sword style. Always like that style. I know when you hear it in Japanese and then you try to convert it back, you're like, yeah, that kind of doesn't sound cool at all. But in Japanese, it sounds dope as hell. And so when he does that style, you always know like that's his last style. So like there's no way he's about to lose this fight. And so when he does it, you get like this buildup of him about to do it, and then he says it, and then whoosh, you see him hitting all your vitals, even though you don't see it because it was a flash. And the shit always just perfect.
I didn't watch it. Isn't he a person who uses the back of his sword, or am I thinking of someone else?
No, that's him. He chose to only use the blunt side of his sword because he didn't want to kill no more.
So he's gonna beat you to death with a metal pipe instead.
It still hurts because he was fucking people up in that series. Samurai X and Kenshin.
The whole Batman.
Yep, pretty much. He's a beast, but you know what else is a beast that actually uses the front side of her sword is Saber from the Fate series, and I don't know why. Because there's other anime I like a lot more, but Excalibur to me, for some reason, is my favorite movement. I don't know if it's just the way that the voice actor says it, because I think that's a lot. I think that has a lot of credence to it. It's who the voice actor is and how they say it.
Really important.
Because like one of my favorite moments, going back to My Hero Soup, is that United States of Smash moment, because the voice actor is insane. And I think a reason so many people like DBZ in the dub versus the sub is because the voice actor in the dub is god tier. And like the sub voice is kind of like it's a female voice, not being meaning to gender here, but it doesn't sound as like badass as Goku.
Yeah. It's not how we envisioned Goku sounding. We were all watching it growing up. This is not how we thought of him sounding. It was very hard to adjust watching that in the sub.
I'll be flat. I can't stand the voice. I hate it.
I hate it too. It doesn't make sense.
I hate it.
Yeah,
it's bad.
But the interesting thing to me is when I look at a lot of like and I'm getting a little off topic here, but if you look at like the main anime characters we like, especially the male ones, they're usually voiced by women.
Yeah,
Like
Naruto's
Naruto,
voice, yeah.
Luffy is voiced by a woman.
I didn't know that one because I don't watch that long ass series.
It's one of the greatest anime of all time, man. You know,
If it wasn't so long, I'd get into it, but it's too long.
I know. Well, everyone can't handle a masterpiece, but so back on. So no, Excalibur for me is amazing. My favorite one is when she in Fate Stay Night, or I should say Fate Zero, where she kills Castor on the water. Spoiler alert, a little too late. But that's like the best Excalibur to me, because for some reason I don't know what it is, but the budget they have for animation in that series is insane.
That show is gorgeous.
It's so crisp and beautiful that I think I was like, because from a attack standpoint, it's literally just a big slash. That's it. Like, it's not supremely special. There's nothing extra to it. It's just a super strong, big overhand slash down. But when you add in like the lights, the pageantry, and another thing we can talk about one day is the soundtracks that they put in with these attacks.
Man.
Because a great soundtrack, like back to My Hero. What is it? Yep, I was about to say. You put that on, I'm feeling it. Like I know people were complaining. Sneak Attack on Titan in here anyway, but a couple episodes back in the battle, the soundtrack they played when Aaron was crushing the Lockjaw Titan's head to get the Warhammer Titan, it made that scene. So to me, the soundtrack they played in that scene, let alone with just like the animation style, made that my absolute favorite attack of all time, probably. I don't know, something might supersede it, but I'm not sure.
Which one was that one?
That was Fate Zero. Zero. She also does it in pretty much every iteration of the Fate series. Is like a billion, but the one the specific one that I am talking about is the one from Fate Zero. It's the battle on the water.
The best one.
It's the best one.
Everything in the Fate series, the whole animation, it looks like the best part of other anime series, except all the time. Like that animation is so crisp.
Insane.
Yeah, the fights are really good.
I don't know why I don't like the series, but the fights I can watch the hell out of the fights.
Well, I can tell you why you don't like the series. You don't like the series because in a lot of them the plot doesn't make any sense, and it's basically the same. Like it just doesn't. You can't get over that.
The Holy Grail Wars. Yeah, I got you.
I had to rewatch that one.
No, I got you.
Being a terrible scene in one, just with a little kid, it just kind of really just got me.
Yeah, that was a rough scene. That was rough. But I don't know. I mean, that's a deep topic one day. We probably have to talk about like killing kids in anime one day, because that is a truly deep topic. But
damn.
Talking about other deep stuff right now. I want to talk about Black History Month right here. And then thank you. So I'd like to talk about Black History Month on a more serious topic. Thank you very much.
Power to the people.
And nothing. As African, we're a group of African Americans. We say it loud. We say it proud. And I want to talk about Black characters in video games, and specifically, why are there so few? And also, I feel like they're often really stereotypes. So I'm not going to pick on anyone. Yeah, I'm not going to pick on. We're not going to have like say our favorite Black anime character in the game right now. But I'm just going to talk here, and I want you guys to tell me how you feel. I'm not going to talk too long. But for me, I think the most frustrating thing, and maybe a reason I haven't gotten into games so much, is because the only like games with Black people in it seem to be sports games that I was already introduced to because I like sports in the first place. And then a lot of sports games I played don't necessarily paint Black folks in the brightest light.
Nope.
Like 2K is supremely stereotypical in a way it views Black people. And then every other game, it seems like you just need to be like Sir Buff Black Man. You need to sound cool, and they like have stereotypical ass sayings. Like as much as I like GTA, exactly. As much as I like GTA, it's not a good example of like how we are as a people, which is truly frustrating. And specifically, I don't know if it's just because they think that we don't care enough to say something. How about you guys? Do you think it's like a situation where they just don't think we care enough, or is it something else?
I think you gotta think about like the people want these stereotypes because some people it makes them feel good, like seeing these stereotypes go about within video games and just modern culture now. Even J. Cole says it about the rap game. The white boys, they like your music now because it's on a trend and you give off this persona like you're this badass, you sell drugs and do all these things, but it's because they wish they were you. They wish they were that black version of you that is not necessarily that represents all of our culture. Because when I think about a black video game character, my mind automatically goes to CJ in Grand Theft Auto, because that's kind of the main black character I know and grew up, and he's this thug and stuff, and he's tough and trying to find his way and shit, and that's how I picture black video game characters. Because when I see black characters in video game, they're usually the side person, and usually they automatically make the main person white. But now you start to see video games start going towards when you're allowed to actually make your character or pick your character, they add that black character in. But sometimes you still can't even create that full persona of like a regular black person in video games when you try to, because they don't even give you the right hairstyles. You still have to pick these white ass hairstyles that don't represent the fluent of culture of how our hair can be.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
My biggest pet fucking peeve.
Exactly. Like Cyberpunk, they tried, but still, there's not enough black hairstyles in that shit. And other games don't even stay par with it. You get like the dreads or the fro.
Yeah.
Or you got
short
bald. Yeah, bald.
Fat ass braids.
Yeah.
Don't get it all, bro. They go so in depth with like white characters in games too. Like feature wise, like I feel like especially with like black skin tones, you're like super dark brown.
There's no in between.
No in between.
It's like for me, I feel like it's not a lot of like as to what you were saying earlier, DJC, about why, like for example, there's a whole bunch of stereotypes. I know Doombot was playing a Final Fantasy game that had a very, very stereotypical black person that I can't remember his name. Perfect. Yep. So I think that a lot of issue is that there's not a lot of representation in the boardrooms and the meetings and the creative team that's behind these things. Those kind of things usually get stopped when there's some people of color in the room. That's probably my estimation. Probably not a lot of people of color in the room is able to stop that. The black experience is so multifaceted. It's not a one-way street. There's so many different definitions of black, but the problem is the only story we get out are the CJs, the Franklins, the black characters' whole archetype is angry or funny. Like it's so much more than just those things. We don't got a lot of representation. Every protagonist is scruffy white male. Every single protagonist is scruffy white male, white guy, straight with a beard. For the most, some kind of beard is what every single video game protagonist is. I can count maybe on my hand the amount of actual protagonists. Was it CJ, Franklin? I'll count even those two other scruffy white males in that game. Alex Keller from Prototype.
James Heller.
Yeah, there we go. James Heller from Prototype. There's not a whole bunch. That's my main concern, is that there's not enough people in the room that's going to push the experience on the people. Yeah. Also, on the side note, a lot of things come down to money. I'm not sure how many big companies are going to back a project that has a black lead in it. But that's a topic for a different day.
That is a topic for a different day. I don't know. I guess the thing about it is, like, just right now, I just looked up some like the top 50, just most popular male characters of all time in games. And when I tell you, I'm on like 30 and I still can't find a black one. Like
I won't be surprised you get a 50.
I got Mario, I got Link, I got Lara Croft, I got Kratos, I got Crash Bandicoot, I got Nico Bellic.
Kratos is black. I don't care what nobody says.
Nah, that's the thing. We got to stop settling though. I feel like y'all like.
That's a good point.
You can't settle.
Yeah, because like
agree.
Sometimes I get, and I hate to take this back to anime, but sometimes I'm just like, when they're like Piccolo's black, I'm like, no, let's just get actual black characters,
Yeah. Talking about Popo?
Stop.
My Uncle Tom Coon Popo that you're talking about, DJC?
We all let that go for some reason. I don't know why, because let's not act like that show doesn't have a whole dark face character and black people don't love it.
If you watch Black Lagoon, they have a black character in it named Duke, but his ass
He's so
he's so
stereotypical.
terrible. Yeah, he's so.
That's the problem. We're
But
so
I
much
still
more
like his
diverse. We have one
character.
singular.
I'm so sorry.
But I
What
literally
you
think I literally like Duke's character because there's
Yeah.
barely any like black people in anime that are not completely embarrassments. Like we
Started.
talk, yeah. Like I have to catch up in Promise Neverland, but I can never forget in the first season the one black character they had in Promise
Oh
Neverland.
my God.
That was so bad.
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, 100 100 Mama.
Bro, I saw that. I
Oh
was
my
just-
God.
Go ahead, DK.
it was first of all, she had that ugly doll, and I was like, okay, I mean, and then the whole little storyline, kind of not even the storyline of her, but that one little like backflash of her when she was little, and then she had that thing. I was like, okay, that's kind of cute, and I was like, this thing looks ugly now, but then in the end, what happened to her was just, God, that whole anime is just sad.
But
I know a
like,
lot. Go ahead.
no. So I think we've identified that we're not here, but I don't want to leave it on a negative note. I want to leave it on a high one. So what are some solutions? Like, do you think it, because in Super, I'm gonna come back to you on this one, and then I want to hear your thoughts on this too. Do you think it literally is just getting more, black folks into those boardrooms that make the games? Or is it just, I don't know, like maybe us making our own games and then hoping they catch on? What do you think?
Oh man, I think it's a little bit of both. I think
agree.
that we need representation in these boardrooms, in these pitch meetings, in these places. We're able to get accurate representations of us out into the games. I know it's not video games at the moment, but things like Black Panther, even though you say you love or hate the movie, it was important to me because now my son doesn't have to grow up being Black Captain America or Black Thor. He can be King T'Challa. He can be Killmonger. My daughter can be Lupita Nyong'o in that movie. They don't have to settle for being the black version of these characters. They can just be that character. We still be heroes. I think like stuff like that is important. Other side of that, I wish I had more optimistic view on it about us making our own. Is in history, we do a terrible job of supporting our people. We do a terrible job of supporting our people. So
Sure.
I think first thing we gotta do is get some representation in the games, get the right, not just black people, the right people of color in there as well. Because there's a whole lot of yes men in the world, and just because you're brown does not mean that you're down. I mean, make that rhyme, but that's what came in my head. But
You really gonna be a whole stereotype right now? You really gonna stereotype yourself like that? Like, yeah, brother, you gonna understand what I'm saying. Sorry. No, but other opinions on what Soup just said, I want to hear from y'all.
I agree with Soup just because, especially, I feel like we need definitely more representation, because without representation, then they just kind of go back, like you said, back to just like the basic representation of us, which is old and it's outdated in my opinion. So like I feel like they bring a lot of new people in of color to represent us better, and it'll definitely like reflect not only like now but like future, being black and like what it really be like. So other than, like you said, we don't have to go back to like there being a black Captain America or a Black Hulk, and just we actually have somebody that represents us. So it's like you have something you can teach your kids, like you don't have to be just him. You could be this guy, because one, he represents your color, and you get something for you to look at and like, okay, I see myself in that character a lot more than I do in Captain America. When it comes to like Black Panther and Captain America, you'd be like, okay, I see him. He's like my skin color. I see that being me in the future, just somebody just being powerful or whatever, like, being a hero rather than, just Captain America. It's like, okay, Captain America, he's old. So it's just, I mean, realistically,
oh man.
It really is. Like, it's
I have a question for everybody before you move on to the next person. Because at least in my school, there wasn't a lot of exposure to things like game design or web design or art. Really, it was all they're pushing us towards trades, which in my at least where I grew up, that made sense. It's financially responsible move. Somebody constantly have jobs. But just let me ask you guys: did you see a lot of opportunities for that? I'm not sure what kind of areas you guys grew up in, but do you see a lot of opportunities for things like game design and web and tech, all those things when you're coming up in like high school or
Two words,
middle school?
2 words: Hell no. The next person, somebody else. It never was an option.
All right. So go ahead.
Go for it, Beyond.
So for me, since the school I went to, it was a charter school, so their main focus was to push you to college. They didn't care essentially what you did. They just wanted to make sure you got to college, so that way you kind of get that future. Because one of the first things most kids don't know is you can go to school, even if you don't have all the financial backing, but you can still get to school and go to a college. And that was one of the main things they were trying to push. And it wasn't necessarily trades or anything, but we didn't get exposure to a lot of things based upon design and going into like a video game world. Now there were kids who thought about it, but it was mainly like the 2 white kids at our school, and because my school was mainly filled with minorities, and so we got exposure to more so the sciences than anything, because that's something that as the minority group we don't go into, because we think about doing all these other things, and so they're just trying to push us to go to school. So
okay, well then I want to get Doombot's opinion, and we're gonna move on to the next topic, because I know we could talk about this all day, but we got other stuff that the fans want to hear. Tell me what you think.
I guess the way I was taught was video games are not a goal you shoot for. It's a goal you put off to the side and focus on something else. And then once you have the skills necessary, you kind of begin to taper towards being a video game developer. Every single college I went to, I asked about that, because that was my goal going into college, was video game developer. And a lot of them were like, we don't encourage our students to do that. However, we do offer classes that will strengthen your ability to do that. So I think that the video game developer is just a lot of times it's a dream for people, not a goal. I see a dream as something you want to do, but you aren't taking steps to become. A goal is something you take steps to become. I just think that I had opportunities to do a lot of computer stuff, computer science, HTML, stuff like that. But video game developing just wasn't one. It was always something I was just always pushed away from, just because there's that stigma around, video game companies aren't what they're supposed to be. You can make more money working for Google or whatnot. But now I don't know if that's the case anymore, because video game industry is growing. But it just wasn't something that was pushed towards. I don't think anybody was really pushed towards it, honestly, but times are changing. So
all right. That's going to be our last opinion on that for the second. But now we're going to move on to our next topic, which is sidekicks can be as popular as main heroes. So who are some of the best sidekicks in comics? Now, I'm going to undercut everybody here, because we're pretty much all going to say the exact same character. I just want to don't go into detail right now. I just want to hear everyone's number one sidekick. Soup, tell me who you thinking of?
The original Boy Wonder himself, Dick fucking Grayson.
Okay. Not Beyond. Doombot, who are you going to say?
I'll say Damian Wayne.
Okay. So I was wrong. All the bat. I was wrong. I feel like we'd all say Dick Grayson. That's fine. Dick Grayson is mine.
Actually, Dick is not my favorite Robin.
Okay, fine. Yes, I just like Dick. That's on me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Beyond, what about you?
it is also Robin.
Which
one?
Robin?
They're not the same, Beyond.
I know, but it's definitely between
Like
Dick and Tim.
Okay.
It's an underrated one. I'll give you that one. It's an underrated pick.
No one gives a shit about
Tim is definitely be the best Batman. It has been the best Batman to me.
Fair enough. DK, what about you?
Fuck Dick. No, I'm just like.
Also, my top one is definitely also Robin, Dick Grayson.
There we go.
But I
Mr.
also
Dick
put
himself.
Wally West as Kid Flash.
All right, Kid Flash is a popular one.
It's a good pick.
You know, people aren't gonna like this, but I like Kid Flash in the Teen Titans Go. I think it's pretty funny. He's the only character on that show that makes sense to be like that.
Yeah.
Well, why does everyone else like Dick? Like, everybody's got to defend why they like. I'm gonna start saying his last name too soon.
It's gonna demonetize immediately.
Why does everyone else like Dick Grayson and Robin? We gotta hear
A
something.
man to be able to allow himself to be called Dick, just presumes
What's his name?
But it chose Richard.
He could have said
He doesn't go by Richard. He doesn't go by Rich or
Good
Richard.
chose.
He goes by
Better than
Dick.
Jason Todd.
He was Rick
Dick
Grayson for a while.
motherfucking Grayson.
Okay. Well, then let me say it like this, and this will move into our next topic here in a second, is because of all the iterations of Robin, he by far, I think, is the one that compels me the most. he's the one I can actually enjoy watching. I mean, there's a reason they killed off Jason Todd's ass. All right.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're talking
That's
about
because they let the fans do it.
I know, and that's
hated
what
him.
I'm saying. Like, think about that. You know how bad you are when the people that are supposed to root for you are like,
But
please kill him.
by
like,
doing that, they made one of the best anti-heroes in all comic book history.
110%.
Red Hood is amazing.
But an anti-hero is not a sidekick, and that is the topic we're on. And when it comes to sidekick, I think Dick Grayson is literally synonymous with it, almost. Like, he is the face of sidekicks. So I kind of have to give him that nod, because other than maybe, I guess now if you polled people, I think they'd probably say Harley Quinn. But a lot of people
I would say Harley Quinn.
Wouldn't even consider Harley Quinn a sidekick anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but through the comic books, I would definitely say she's one of those underrated like sidekicks you gotta think of, because she just goes hand in hand with Joker, and so you cannot picture Joker without thinking of Harley Quinn. Yeah,
that's a fairly recent thing, though. That's not like,
well, for me always, but now
I picture Joker without Harley Quinn, honestly.
Yeah, I can.
I can't picture without. Okay, Mr. J, like in the background.
Mr. J.
Mr. J.
Mr. J.
Oh, pudding.
Let me answer why I believe Dick Grayson is unequivocally the best just for Doombot. He had a very similar startup to Batman, but made the better choice. He's not stuck in hate. He's not stuck in the gloom. He's not traumatizing the other orphans. He said, okay, my situation is fucked up, but I'm going to keep hope that can be better, as opposed to the pessimistic Batman. He was everything a sidekick needed him to be. He was plunky. He was a bullet shield for Batman, wearing them bright-ass colors. He took the heat off of him. He was everything that he had to be. Most importantly, much I love Red Hood, still feel like Dick Grayson had the better transition into being his own hero. He doesn't get a lot of respect in like DC animated movies, not even in the DC extended universe, but in actual comics, Dick Grayson is one of the most respected and loved heroes. Is Nightwing. I feel like he is just unequivocally the best. He's with everything a sidekick should be.
Yeah, but he didn't respect himself by having that mullet.
Listen, it was the 90s, all right? It was a weird time.
Everybody had shoulder pads in the 90s, man. It was spiky. It was really
costumes.
Outfit, though, I was like, yo, what the fuck is
you
weird?
notice, like in the 90s.
My reason for Dick Garrison is just it kind of go hand in hand with too, but it's just the whole storyline they made for him and everything. It just fit well, and it was more intriguing than anything compared to a lot of other Robins.
Am I the only one that likes Damian Wayne as a Robin?
No,
Yes,
we
you
do
do.
like Damian.
I fucking hate Damian Wayne.
Why?
Oh, no, I do not knock Damian at all.
Why do you hate Damian, man?
Damian Wayne is the most spoiled little bratty shit I've ever seen in my entire life. And the DC animated movies get down on all fours and suck him off for an entire 45 minutes. I've seen him beat Batman, Nightwing, go toe-to-toe with the Justice League, and fucking survive being shot by Darkseid's fucking Omega Beam. Who? Oh, don't. You know what? I'm mute myself right now.
His dad did, actually. So you want to have... It's called DNA, yeah.
DNA and growing up to be an assassin your whole life.
I was about to say, I like this story. I really enjoyed the fact how they trained him from birth to be the world's greatest assassin. And then Talia Gold being like, oh, by the way, you have a son. And he's better than you. And I was like, what? Are you talking shit? I really enjoyed the dynamic of Damian's learning how to kill. He knows how to kill people efficiently, and he's really good at it. But Batman's like, listen, that's not what we do here. He's like, but I can be a better Batman than you. So I always think that dynamic going back and forth between them.
But doesn't make him a better Batman, because Batman doesn't kill.
He's not Batman.
He's Damian Wayne.
And the greatest debate about Batman is whether he should kill or not. So I think Damian's also on that edge where everybody's like, why don't you just kill the Joker? Batman's like, nah, but Damian's like, I'll do it. I really enjoy that, like how Damian's kind of like Batman's either better or polar opposite.
Okay,
it's kind of like growth for both of them, like to understand the fact that I should kill him, but I'm not, because I'm not choosing to. And Damian's like, well, shit, it'd be easier just to kill him. Mm-hmm. And they're both just feeding off each other and understanding how you should go about through the world. I think that's kind of one of the best things about it.
All right.
Damien's great, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no, I hear you guys. But I'm going to stop you now. Because we brought up. I want to move on to the next topic. And we kind of already alluded to it by a different iteration of the same character. So tell me, do you guys mind different iterations of the exact same character? For example, like multiple people picking up the mantle of Robin?
No.
I'm gonna say no, because one, they did a really good job with each Robin, and then also like far as like the transitioning from one to another was well done, and like there was a good story to it. So there wasn't no just like a drop off of like just pick somebody else up, boom. There was a good like transition. Okay, this person turned dark, or he died because of this scenario or whatever. So that's why in my opinion, that's why I like it. I don't mind it too bad. It just depends on, like I said, it probably just depends on the storyline, and then and how they transition, if they transition to a different character.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's I like having a different people take on the mantle, because it just develops that role more better throughout the comics, because you're seeing people take up a different mantle and giving their own impression of how that mantle should be. Because as we stated, Damian Wayne is totally different from Dick, totally different from Tim, because Tim's like that intellectual one and the geek and the science guy. So when he played that role as Robin, it was different. And when Dick played the role, he played it with like a light heart. Like you can love the guy no matter what, because it's fucking Dick Grayson, and the way he portrays himself into that role. And then the way Todd, because of his background, he played himself into that role and ended up getting himself. Yeah. Joker beat that ass. So.
Don't do that.
No. I feel you on that one, because for me personally, I always say it's a maybe, and my maybe is this. Is the new character going to come in and try to be their own character, or is the new character going to come in and try to be like another version of the same one? Because like whenever there's a new Spider-Man, I don't want them to try to be Peter Parker. I want them to be their own, their own iteration.
Totally understandable.
The same way, if someone else is like God, who is the Batman? It's the animated series where Batman's an old man. He has a new younger Batman.
Terry
McGinnis. Yeah.
I love Terry McGinnis, and I'm sorry I forgot his name, but I love him because he was like, I ain't Bruce Wayne, like, and he was himself the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Playboy, party kid.
You can also go like real far to the left on that as well. Someone can just be disrespectful to the legacy at all. Like, for example, I hate keep bringing up. Let's bring up Spider-Man. Spider-Man, for the most part, at least that I'm aware of, doesn't really kill. Please correct me if I'm wrong. At least not intentionally. Like, imagine if Spider-Man's mantle gets passed on and dude just gets out a gun and just swinging through New York, just gunning people down. Like, that would be real disrespectful to his legacy.
I know, but I would love to see it.
But
I would love to see it too. Like, Spider-Man, I come out of retirement. Yeah, I can't think that. But like, I like it. I think it expands on the mythos of a character, as long as the character is their own. We just got a new Batman, for example, not doing a very good job. First black Batman, I'm very disappointed in him. Because he's not being his own character. He's just like, this is my city now, but you haven't made it your city anyway. So he just pretend Batman. It's really sad to see. But I do like what they're doing with the new Green Lantern. We have so many different Green Lanterns, the whole core, but we have a lot of mainstream ones. The one they're doing right now, they're making her to be able to be a detective. So instead of just going out and fighting big time villains, she goes and solve mysteries around the whole galaxy, which is different for a Green Lantern. That's not what you exactly see.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I really like kind of being different for her. So I like when they add new things to characters. There's a bunch of speedsters, a bunch of Green Lanterns, slowly growing Superman family. So I like when they do that with different characters.
Fair. Go ahead, DK.
No, I was just saying, I think I feel like it's a good thing. Like you said, like we all kind of agree on, it's a good thing to have different iterations of a main character. But there's also like there's a flip side to it. So if it turns dark, then you're just like, oh wow. But even then, even though if it flips up and then turns dark, it's still a good like story to it, and it can develop the character or develop that hero in general. So
I don't mind at all, especially for like like title characters like Batman, we talk about Green Lantern, Spider-Man, like Batman is a symbol. It doesn't really matter who is under the cowl as long as you're not just one time murdering people. Like Spider-Man, the whole point of the mask is that anybody can be Spider-Man. That's the whole point of it. And like Doombot was saying, Green Lantern, the detectives, anyone do that. So I don't mind it at all. It's just I think it brings, like everyone was saying, a new take to it, own perspective to it. Yeah. It's just you have to be respectful to the title, and I also have an issue with the reason people don't like the new characters. If your reason starts, for example, a lot of people initially didn't like the new Batman because he was black, and they felt like Batman should always be white. If that's a reason for not liking the character, you're fucking stupid. But if you don't like the character because, which I agree with doing about as well, it seems like he's wearing, he doesn't feel like Batman. He's like wearing a Batman costume, and like I said, claim the city, even though he has not done any work for it. I agree with that, but if your main reason is for, I don't like the fact that Spider-Man is a woman now, or I don't like the fact that they're young. If it's those reasons, I feel like it's stupid. But if you can do it, do your own take on it, and pick up a mantle and take it the right way, I think it's a great thing.
Okay. Well, then moving on to our final topic right there, we've talked a lot about DC characters right now, and we've talked about a little bit about DC animated movies and how well they've done. But let's talk about something in DC that isn't going well right now, and that is their live action movies. So, gentlemen, what is a comic book adaptation that you think they could bring to the live action scene that could kind of help jumpstart that DCEU? I'm gonna start with Beyond. You sound like you're itching to get at it.
So, I think one of the best like comic book arcs or just stories in general that they should bring to the big screen is definitely the Red Hood origin.
Damn right.
Because so many people like it just for it being what it is. And you can totally expand upon it because they already essentially talked about a dead Robin and Batman versus Superman. So you already know that somewhere there's either they didn't say if it was Dick or Todd, but essentially there's a dead Robin out there that can come back and they can really jumpstart the DC movies by doing a correct job with the Red Hood.
What is the Red Hood storyline? Give me a quick rundown on that.
So basically, there's a so basically Todd dies by the hand of Joker. The man basically is still alive. It's been a while since I watched the movie, but it's one of my favorites. So I'm sorry. Let's start this over because I just see all the face of disappointment.
Just skip the explanation of the Red Hood. Just be like, just talk about why you think it fits. It would fit perfectly in the DCEU now as a story, and then you could just kind of put certain story beats in it. Like,
okay,
there you go.
So I think it will work perfect for the big screen, basically because of the fact that the story holds this guy that just comes back from the dead who was Batman's partner, and one of the mistakes Batman feels so deep about because he let somebody in to replace his previous Robin and he ends up dying. So having him come back creates like this new conflict with Batman and the story, and basically showing how Batman can affect a child and change how he becomes later on without him even knowing really truly about it, because now you have almost a psychotic guy going out here being an anti-hero and essentially kind of doing what Damian is doing, what Batman couldn't do, but he also creates a new dynamic and growth for the character of Batman.
I feel you on that. For me personally,
epic
I think
fight scenes too.
That's good. All right. For me personally, the one I think that really would fit well is the Killing Joke, mainly because when I look at the DCU right now, they're straddling between trying to be like comedy-ish at certain points and then trying to be super brooding and whatnot. And for them, I think they should, honestly, I do think they could, if they can do the brooding route, because it's worked before with the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogies. It's been shown that can be done. Granted, I don't know if they have an actor to the caliber of Christian Bale or a director to the caliber of Christopher Nolan to make it work. However, with a storyline like Killing Joke, if you can kind of capture some of that essence of brooding and making you think, and also just the new Joker film that just came out, granted, I don't know if that's obviously not the DCEU, but still, there's kind of a precedent here with DC movies being a little more brooding where we can get into, whereas vice versa, if I saw a Marvel movie and maybe if it's one of the more like Civil War, if Civil War had like all the deaths that Civil War had in the comics, it wouldn't have worked, because people wouldn't have been able to enjoy that the same way they would have been able to enjoy it in the comments, enjoy it like in the comics, because Marvel on screen is so much more like cheery and jolly, and every hero is like a quipper and something like that. Whereas
they always crack jokes on each other all the time.
In DCU, they're trying too hard to replicate Marvel. So I think their best course of action is just straight up saying, all right, let's just get some of the darkest things we can do, because it worked with Joker. Granted, not a DC movie, but still, Joker was exceptionally dark. And hell, they got a freaking Oscar for it. That's just my opinion.
DC is that more dark comic book series. So I think they should just play to their strengths by doing that.
Yeah. So Doombot, tell me, what's your adaptation you think would be good for DC?
Well, Daddy, I got two possible options here. Both are in-game options here.
Oh dear.
One is Kingdom Come and the other is Darkest Night.
Oh.
So Kingdom Come is either you know it and you love it, or you never heard of it. But it's essentially the story of all of our favorite superheroes: Superman, Batman. I think it's about 20 or so years in the future when they're all kind of old and kind of retired, and they started to see a problem where all the newer heroes are overly violent. Think of like The Boys, kind of, where they are killing people. They save the city, yeah, but they also destroy 10 blocks and kill over 100 people. Like, okay, this is getting out of hand. So they come out of retirement, and essentially there's a small war between the older heroes and the newer heroes. It's done really well with Superman. He's getting kind of old, his powers are fading, but he's like, you have to save the city one last time. I think that'd be a really good send-off if DC was to do it, to tie in their whole kind of year span, kind of like how Marvel did with Infinity War, where you can see maybe you have a couple characters die, Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman have their like last moments together on screen, big huge sunset fall and fade to black and everything. I think that'd be really good adapted story. It's one of DC's best written stories. Another one is Blackest Night.
Well, okay, on your first one real quick, I hear you on that, but I feel like they'd have to establish those other characters a little bit first, like make us care about them a little bit more.
You would, and I think that like I said, it would have to be like an endgame kind of movie. It would have to be something where I think the end would really, really counter Infinity War as in just how it's done, but you would have to put that work in. Don't just take the Jonathan didn't take and make 3 movies. And
so they got like 17 movies. They got 17 movies of work to put in before they get to that point.
You should go work for DC, Doombot.
There's a lot of people that go work for DC. A lot of YouTubers, man, because DC's not doing it right now. They're pissing me off. I'm really upset with them. But
they get a job.
I mean, Blackest Night is another one. Great Green Lantern comic book. If you don't know, there's more than one different kind of Lantern Corps, and Blackest Night covers all of them. There's a ton of death. It'll fill that edgy role, but also it'd be really cool to see a lot of the DC giant whale. It'd be really, really good movie if they could ever make another Green Lantern movie, which I don't know if they should, but they want to take that risk, man. Go for it.
You know what? Listen, the thing that gets me is like DC was able to resurrect freaking Aquaman, so they can put the work in and make Green Lantern work.
If they bring back Green Lantern, they should bring him back as Stewart. I think that would go. Yes. That would go well because he's already established. He already been in the comic books and in the anime series, and I think people would like him more than when Ryan Reynolds was playing him.
110%.
Who would play him? You gotta say who would play him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that we're not going to fantasy book right now. But we'll talk about that another day. Super Thought, tell me what's comic book adaptation you think could help them?
I definitely think that we should continue to go down the route that Doombot and UDJC were talking about, staying like the edgy, darker route. I think Marvel has a good chunk of the market on like the quippy, funny characters. I say keep going dark. I say that they adapt a live action version of the Deceased comic book line. Essentially what it is, they already introduced Darkseid already, so you don't gotta worry about doing that. Darkseid, his whole motivation is after something called the anti-life equation, which essentially it's a way to subjugate people, if I remember correctly. But essentially he infects Cyborg with it. Cyborg's completely digital. He gets sent back to Earth. it goes digital and the cyborg goes out to the internet, and now anyone who looks at the screen immediately gets turned to a zombie. I think it'd be super dark. It'd be super gritty. My favorite thing about it actually is that the people you expect to save the day are not going to save the day. It's real bleak. It's real mind shattering. Superman's down. Batman goes in the first issue. Bat family's gone. Flash gets infected and just does what you think the Flash would do if he was infected by a zombie, gets every single person. And what I think was cool about it, speaking of passing the mantle, is that all these heroes, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, they're all down. So it comes to the sidekicks to step up. Damian Wayne steps in the Batman role. John Kent, Superman's son, becomes a new Superman. They have a good send off with him. I think it'd be great. That definitely would be a game changer for DC. It would be a game changer for DC. It'd be hard to do to kill such beloved characters, especially Batman, because Lord knows they love Batman. But I think it would be a great change of pace for him.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then last but certainly not least, to end the podcast, DK Typical _ Television, tell us, what is your comic book adaptation you think would help the DCEU franchise?
I didn't know I had a television. I thought it was TV. But I mean, I know they already made a movie about this, and like right now they currently have like a series going on. I think Watchmen, because they did so good in the movie. I think if they come out with another movie like Watchmen 2 or something, it'll definitely help DC out a lot. That's just my opinion. I know I never really did all the comics for Watchmen, but just watching the movie and then seeing a couple episodes, and from what Doombot was telling me, that the series is doing really good and is really well. I think if they put out a good movie here, like maybe after I don't know what season are they on, or Doombot, if you know.
No, they just did the one and done.
Yeah, okay. Well, see, if they come out with a movie now, I think it'd be really good. That's just my opinion, because Watchmen's has been good from their first movie. I mean, I don't know if the first movie was all that, but it was still pretty good from when it did come out. So that's just my thing. So that's what I can say about that.
I mean, hell, that's literally one of the most popular comic book adaptations of all time. So if they get it right, then you're doing it. I guess the thing would be, I don't know if that necessarily fits in DCEU, but they need a spark right now. They need something, because I don't know how well Wonder Woman 1984 was perceived. I think it was just okay from what I saw.
Okay.
They need because Marvel's kicking the tar out of them, but
all doo-doo out of them.
Exactly.
What I say they need to do, I don't think they should follow the same game plan Marvel did. They didn't lay down any of the framework. Let's say want to start now. They laid down a terrible framework for it. What I think they should do is do more standalone movies, like the Joker and the new Batman coming out, which honestly looks great. I think they should focus on that. It's telling these standalone, self-contained stories. I feel like DC really will thrive in that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And also something that's really fair is that we're done with episode 4 of the OffRangers podcast. We went pretty much really far over time. However, we had a lot to say today. We had a lot of great topics to talk to. We got a lot more topics to talk to you about in the near future. This is episode 4. Episode 5 will be out next week. We upload every single week. We are the OffRangers. We thank you guys for watching, and peace.
Peace.
Yo.